Welcome to your A to Z guide to the 2021 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. This week, F1 hits the streets of the historic medieval city of Baku for a track that has the speed of Monza and the narrow corners of a Monaco. In today's video, we'll look at all the circuit info that makes up this unique track and the short Grand Prix history that will give us a clue as to who will take victory this weekend. We've also got your usual weekend notes and race predictions, so let's not waste any more time and dive right into the guide to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Of all the recent new circuits in Formula 1, Baku has been the most unique in its layout and the racing that has kept fans and drivers on the edge of their seats ever since 2016. The anti-clockwise 6-kilometer circuit winds its way through the historic Baku city with 20 corners overall, 12 to the left and 8 to the right. Baku is described as two circuits, the old city section like Monaco and the blast past the modern skyscrapers like Monza. This leads to a low downforce setup as top speed is crucial down the 2.2-kilometer full throttle main straight. Because of this, you end up taking your lap at full throttle 65% of the time with the help of two DRS zones which can be found in Sector 1. Track position isn't all that important in Baku, which we'll talk about in a minute, but pole position is located on the right-hand side of the track, with the distance to turn 1 being 137 meters. And if you're thinking this street track will make overtaking difficult, keep in mind this stat. The 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix contained one of the highest numbers of normal overtakes, that's non-DRS assisted, as any race that year with 37 overall. It's quite easy to look back at the history of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix as there have only been 4 races in Baku since its debut in 2016. Just for reference, although the first Grand Prix in Baku was called the European Grand Prix, that race has been included in the general Azerbaijan GP stats. So far, only 2 constructors have taken victory in Baku, with Mercedes owning 75% of the total wins with 3 altogether. Red Bull is the only other team to triumph in Baku thanks to a win back in 2017, and it's safe to say they've got plenty of good and bad memories of this circuit. Out of the current drivers on the grid, Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas share 1 victory each, with Bottas being the most recent winner in 2019. And the most infamous win in Baku came courtesy of Daniel Ricciardo back in 2017 in what was a race for the ages. These historic streets have seen plenty of safety car action in its history, as there is a 50% chance of seeing a deployment this weekend. Because of the high speeds and general crazy nature of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, track position is not as important as other street circuits such as Singapore or Monaco. 50% of race winners have started on pole, while another 25% have won from second on the grid. Ricciardo's 2017 victory came from all the way down in 10th, so it really can be anybody's race come Sunday afternoon. Starting off with the weekend notes, we have the predicted weather forecast for Baku. It is looking like a beautiful and warm race weekend with highs of 25 degrees all the way through. Keep an eye out for the track temperatures on Saturday and Sunday and which teams will favor the warmer conditions the most. Moving on to the tires, for the second week in a row, we've got Pirelli's softest compounds with the C3, C4, and C5 tires. The streets of Baku don't demand a lot of energy from the tires, and the surface is not very abrasive. Because the corners don't generate as much energy as other tracks, teams are more dependent on brake heat to keep the tires warm. However, because of this, the softer tire compounds are more sensitive to overheating and breaking apart, so it's a tough balance to find between keeping the tires warm and not overheating them. Anytime Mercedes has an uncharacteristic awful weekend, they usually make it a point to bounce back strong in the next race, so watch out for them this weekend. If we try to gauge their confidence heading into this race, it's a mix of the usual downplaying of chances, but also high motivation to correct the wrongs of Monaco. Quote, "On Monday morning, I saw the same energy as when we returned from the Bahrain test, and that pleases me," Mercedes boss Toto Wolff said. "We dissected the weekend, asked hard questions of ourselves, and learned some crucial lessons." This circuit has actually been one that Hamilton hasn't favored all that much, with only one victory here, and that was handed to him thanks to a devastating puncture for Bottas back in 2018. On the flip side of things, Bottas has enjoyed this circuit with a podium in 2017 and a pole and race win back in 2019, so this might be Valtteri's last chance to keep his 2021 championship hopes alive. Of course, this weekend is also significant as for the first time in his career, Max Verstappen enters a Grand Prix weekend as the championship leader. I do believe this track will suit the traits of the RB16B, as they are solid in the low-speed corners and pretty slick in a straight line as well. Since the stricter bendy wing load tests don't start until next race, maybe that will be a good helping hand for Red Bull down to 2,000-meter full throttle main straight. Baku is all about compromises, as you want a high downforce setup for Sector 2 and a low downforce setup for Sectors 1 and 3, so whichever team can find the sweet spot will have a strong car for both qualifying and the race. The important battle this weekend in Baku will be on the pit wall once again, as we have plenty of chances for overtaking and safety cars. The 21-second time lost in the pit lane is one of the shortest on the calendar, and the step softer tires for this race will make the team game all that more crucial. Outside of the top two teams, this circuit can offer the chance for a surprise podium finish like we saw in 2017 and 2018. Teams like McLaren and Ferrari can be in great positions to pick up the pieces if the drivers at the front make any mistakes. I wouldn't be surprised to see Lando Norris on the podium once again this weekend, as he's in great form and the McLaren will be competitive around the Baku streets. Ferrari might not be as strong as they were in Monaco, but their power unit gains in 2021 will help them keep up with McLaren in the battle for third in the championship. Let's also see whether Aston Martin can build off their best race of the season, in which they scored a double points finish at Monaco. Oftentimes on street circuits, the driver can make the real difference, and Sebastian Vettel showed us that with this P5 in Monte Carlo. With both of their drivers having good success at this circuit, this could be another great chance at a decent haul of points before moving on to some tracks that might not suit the AMR 21. So that wraps up your A to Z guide to the 2021 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, but now it's your turn to get in your predictions. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below and let us know how you see this weekend playing out. Remember, if you never want to miss a guide to a Grand Prix this season, click that subscribe button and hit the bell for instant notifications. Thanks for watching today's video and enjoy the race.